you do your best to deliver the best quality product and all the possible stuff like that, but then management changed and decision maker changed, and they want to do another competition between suppliers, and they simply don't like you. Just like that, this could go this way. Obviously, we're supposed to diversify our customer portfolio, our supplier portfolio, but what really makes difference in terms of this complex relationship, both in terms of sales and in terms of procurement?
May I start?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that yeah, you're absolutely right to move a little bit our discussion a little bit to other side of relationships, and of course we need to invest a lot to our relationships, but during all negotiation trainings we can see, and during our business cases from real life we can see that if we will not be open, straight, and transparent in our goals and wishes, what we want to reach in the deal or to reach with this contract, for example, or
Hmm.
in the competition, we will lose the client, we will lose this contract, and we will not be success in this competition, for example. Yes, and all these conditions and terms should be delivered to your customer if you're a salesperson, or versus to the to the buyer, or sorry, to the salesperson. And in this situation, everybody in this negotiation process or bargaining process will be aware what our counterpart wants in this deal, and you will go forward quickly. It is one part. Yes, the second part is work very accurate and detailed with your contract. So you need to prepare your contract in the way when anybody after this contact person leave the company, anybody can work with this contract, and it will reflect the pure terms which you deal and pure terms which you're working with in this contract. And in this way, even if substitute or other contact person will take the place of the previous contact person, you can negotiate with them in clear way what is the specific of your relationships, and how you work, and propose them, for example, previous evaluation forms or previous audit forms, etc., etc. So as better you prepare plan and scenarios for your negotiations, as better you negotiate them, and as better you can fix it in the contract and help to transfer this process from one contact person to another one. This is my experience from procurement practice.
So in short, your advice to the audience is you just need to be the best,
Yes.
You just need to be the best,
It's very short.
unquestionable best in very short term, you
Yeah, very
need to
short
be the best.
resume of my speech.
Yeah, surprisingly, I actually I put my question, and I've read from Gorgana and Nadenova exactly the question I've asked. That was my intuition. Thank you very much. Gorgana, thank you for your question. Again, we are talking about big corporates and how we transfer. We got corporates of tens of thousands of people, and we got contracts and everything. And yes, obviously, that if somebody wants a magic pill, this magic pillow, this supposed magic pill or miracle drug. It's just to be the best, at questionable best. But gentlemen, what are your advices in that respect? You know, decision makers are changing. Big company, how we make a difference in that either side, procurement, supply, whatever.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I think the big difference is also in our responsibility as a relationship manager to understand what is the decision-making process of my customer. Because when it comes to the negotiation, we always have to think about there is not just the decision maker. Because sometimes you are maybe lucky that you meet him, and that you get the information directly from him. But very often he is not the one who is aware of the real problem of his company. So that means there are also influencers. There are people that influence him in his decisions, and we, as a relationship manager, we have to be aware of that. So we have, in a negotiation, we have to discuss with many people. So we have to find out what is the process of this decision-making process, who is the one who is making the decisions, is he influenced by whom, and we need to get also some information. So to have a clear picture of the process and then to respect that. So the thing is, we always know that we have the best product, we have the best solution, but it has to fit. So that's exactly the point.
The best. We believe it is the best.
Absolutely,
but it is
absolutely.
not.
Otherwise,
it is
we
not
wouldn't
necessarily the best fit. That's the thing.
And that's the thing. So we have to fit our solution so that it works best for them, and we have to think about it might change in future. So exactly what you said. So maybe there is in over a certain period, it is changing. There might be another decision maker. There might be another influencer, and we have to be aware of these situations as well. So here as well, we have to be also aware that we have to maybe modify our solution from time to time. And this is procurement. That's why we every year you have to meet them again, because it's changing. And if your solution is not flexible enough to adapt to the changing situation, you're out. So that's why you really have to understand the whole process. And this is all about knowing as much, getting as much information as possible to have a clear picture of the decision-making process to adapt also your solution.
So we are moving to the theory of Sir Charles Darwin. I don't know if he had knighthood, but Charles Darwin said, "Adapt or die." And,
exactly.
Steve, what would you say about that? Steve, we don't hear you. Yeah, you are muted.
Still.
Yeah, no. A classic error. Speaking when I'm muted.
So that's okay. Found solution.
I was saying that I didn't know Darwin personally. I think he died 100 years before I was born. So I can't tell you much about Charles Darwin. But what I can say about the what I've heard from my colleagues is if I start with Ronald and just build on the analysis of the, sometimes they call it the DMU, the decision-making unit or decision makers, is that exactly as Ronald said, you've got influencers, you've got gatekeepers, and sometimes, to his point, actually the final decision is made exactly as he said, in another country. And he will know this from, shall we say, Switzerland and the US. Certainly in financial services, you can have the New York office as the final decision maker, but they're not close enough to the operation in Zurich or in Switzerland or Geneva. to know the business, but they are part of that decision-making unit. So it's a very, we can say, multi-layered relationship management that you need to be aware of, and not focusing, as I said before, only on one single relationship. The other thing that I just wanted to pick up on that Marina was talking about was the contract. And obviously the contract and the service level agreement and the key performance indicators will give us, as exactly as she said, a very, very strong foundation, or shall we say, the relationship that should be maintained throughout the contract with the vendor manager. You've got the blueprint for the relationship there, with the key performance indicators, the amount of times that you should sit down and review that, when you should escalate it, and so on. But the only other thing I wanted to add to that was the point I made earlier, as Marina said, the crowd check model is, from a buyer's perspective, you must know, and sometimes these change. You know, a leveraged item can move into a strategic item. An excellent example of this is that 2 years ago, I'm going to be a little bit provocative and say no one cared about PPE equipment. That probably isn't quite true, but you understand my point. It was probably a very consumable item. And now we probably will see PPE equipment in a very strategic space. So once it was probably two and a half years ago, it might have been a, shall we say, standard non-critical item, maybe a leveraged item, and now we see it as a strategic item. So things do change, and it's important. Absolutely. It's important for the organization to understand where it positions the suppliers and the spend categories. But it's also the flip side to that, as Ronald has said, from a sales perspective, it's important that buyers understand where sellers see them, because sometimes you can get it horribly wrong. I've seen it where buyers are investing a lot into a relationship with a supplier, and the supplier sees it as something that they want to exploit. They want to exploit that opportunity. So this notion of, as Marina said, making it professional, making it formal, documenting it, I very much like, rather than this informal friendship, if I can say that, of building a relationship, because sometimes it can go horribly wrong and cost you a lot of money and a lot of be a big risk to your organization.
Absolutely. So I mean, just continuing your idea, Steve. If we are building friendly relationship, this is supposed not to be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem to sign a contract, or sign a good contract, to work together on the contract, just to make a good foundation for the future relationship, and making sure we maintain that a lot. What I heard from all of you three is that changes are coming. I mean, nothing is forever, with except for changes, and both sides are actually should be ready for this change, and ready to cooperate, and ready to change what they produce, that they used to deliver, in order to maintain this relation. So relationships mean readiness to change together. If I can formalize that, would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. The thing is also, to me, that's why I like in the negotiation. We should talk about win-win, because it's always something for both sides. Because the competitor is the market, so we have to beat the market, but together. And that's why it is really good to have a relationship, but to have a common solution that fits to the market. So, and in the end, we really benefit both from a good solution. And that's where we should, put the focus on it. Just having a nice discussion is okay, but at the end we should have a result, and the result is just there when we both say, this is something we are willing also to sign under this contract something, and we do something together, because the outcome is then what is important.
That was sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay.
I just wanted to say that, like in restaurants, you don't care about the waiter's smile if the food is terrible. This I mean, you cannot compensate. You cannot compensate rational side of relationship with emotional one. Yeah. If you got customer could be of great importance, but if customer is not credit worthy, is not paying on time, what's the reason of having such a customer? The same story on the procurement side.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Marina.
Yes.
You don't need to ask even.
Yes, in the beginning I said about changing competences and changing in general the principles of professions and principles of work in procurement and supply chain particularly. But at the same time I want to say that last year and this year showed us that, especially lockdown showed us that how it's important supplier relationship management, and that this part of procurement work was one of the mainest. And if you didn't have in place the right strategy of these relationships with your suppliers, the right risks map and mitigations of risks of this risk plan, and if you didn't have classification of the suppliers, etc., so if you didn't have it in place, you was the first reaction, you was shocked, frustrated, and you cannot manage situation in proper way, because last year, especially in spring, all procurement and supply chain professionals need to manage the situation by hand. And yes, of course, automatization and digital instruments helps you save time and money very often. But at the same time, if you didn't connect with your suppliers, as said Ronald, if you didn't have contact and didn't talk with your suppliers and didn't update situation, for example, about changing in management, about changing in culture of the suppliers in suppliers company, so you cannot find the way how to manage some unpredicted and risk situations. And I know many professionals who did everyday calls with very important and strategic suppliers just to be updated and just to know the situation, even it is the worst. And the question was how we can help you to solve this situation. And it is really win-win approach, as Ronald said, because we can win only if my partner can win in this situation. Not to push it and to open a new competition and new tender, but to help both each other to go from this situation like winners and be successful all together. So I am fan of this approach, and I think that only in such a way we can stay human beings, yes, and we can be successful in our business and in delivering good results for our company, for our business, and with help of our counterparts, and of course counting and saving money for both sides. So this is my thoughts and my approach in business, like procurement first of all, and like co-owner of my own business.
Great, Marina. Thank you. Steve, maybe you will add something.
Only a little bit. I just wanted to possibly repeat, but bring it into context with the comments that have just been made. And just to say, back to this point about, it all depends and everyone is different. So back to Ronald's point about the colored circle, the colored wheel, individuals are very different. Company cultures can be very different. Company objectives can be very different. So as Marina was saying, like with any relationship, the more you can understand it, the more you can analyze it, the more you can understand it and shall we say reflect upon it, then the better you can make that relationship. But I just want to add that also, once you've done that hard work of understanding it, you can then decide where you're going to make the investment of your time. Because from a sales and a buyer's point of view, not everybody will get the same amount of attention from me as a chief procurement officer. I just don't have enough time. I don't have enough time and resource at my disposal to build the relationship. So I must make decisions mainly in the strategic collaborative area and the big spend, highly complex areas where I'm going to spend those in the A-class suppliers. So it's really this, I suppose, sending a message out to our colleagues on the call today. A relationship sounds quite soft and quite easy to do, like taking everyone for a beer or a coffee.
Yeah.
Because we've all got what we can call social skills. I think as leaders we get good social skills, but this is actually hard work. So just to remind people, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And it is quite hard work to do the analysis and to determine, what you want from it and where you're going to invest the time.
Thank you very much for pointing that, Steve, because what I was about to say, and this what bring me to, before we come to the last question, what I understood, okay, it looks like from outside of the discussion, it looks like having lunch or having beer or having coffee or whatever it is, but there is something very much in the essence of that. It's just like a background. All these coffees, beers, everything. To me, what is the most important is listening to the needs of a counterpart, whatever it is, supplier or customer. My job as a credit manager, as a corporate one, was just like coming with both, with procurement side, the sales side to our counterparts, is asking, what else can we do to do better business, to do bigger business? And what are your needs? And then understanding our own needs, what can we do? Whether or not there is a match, or there is we need something to do, to get this match, just to make sure we are going to the better future on both sides.